So you hear the rumors of the housing market softening. Oh, it's gotten. I haven't seen that. There's more people than ever moving in here. I don't care what interest rates or whatever. I mean, they're still coming. And now they just parked and they put their backyard patio set where they can watch you in the hot tub. Sometimes you just need privacy. Every time you're out there with the backyard barbecue enjoying that last sip of tea, they turn on their bathroom light and it just pierces into your backyard. You need privacy. So your contractor friends, they're booming right now. They can't get enough help. They are just so stretched thin, and their construction pile is right there on your fence line. You need privacy. And so here are a few of the plants locally that grow the fastest. And not by no means all of them. In fact, I'll try to post, I'll have something, let's see, through our Facebook post or Instagram feed, a top 10 list of privacy plants. Like you could go to our website, watersgardencenter.com, and just type in privacy. You'll get all the articles, and you just do that. Just go into the search bar at watersgardencenter.com. It'll have the list plus of the fastest growing, top performing evergreen privacy plants. But let me just mention a few of them, and you can plant these now. It's perfectly fine. I started out the show and said you can plant now, but just supplement the drip irrigation with some hand watering until the monsoons come. That is very important for all new plantings. But if you're going to plant a new privacy screen, it's actually a good time because they're going to grow some when the monsoons hit. So there's a couple things I'm doing. I'm keeping the weeds down because they take moisture away from my plants and they're just a nuisance. I'm keeping the bugs down because they suck the life out of plants. I don't want that. So I'm keeping them down. And then I'm planting now to take advantage of the monsoon or the summer rains. You get an extra set of growth. You'll get more roots. They'll be hardier going through winter by planting them now. It's okay. And here are some of the top performers. I'd say number one, sold here at the garden center. I guess one is a tree, one is a shrub. The tree is Arizona cypress. It's a 20-foot tall by 12-foot wide, beautiful, dense green, layered central trunk with branches swooping down. It's got the classic Arizona blue, but it grows fast. Now, it grows so fast that at the garden center, it doesn't quite fill out in the bucket. So if you're growing this in a container, it doesn't quite fill out. So it can be a little thin, but don't let that fool you. You put that thing in the ground, and by next spring, it's going to be thick and full, and you don't dare walk through it. You can't see through it. And so it's a good strong one. We use it for windbreaks, privacy screens. But again, 20 foot by 12 foot, you need some space. You don't put it right next to the house. It's too big. It wants to be on that property line out there, hiding the barn across the valley. Put it right there to screen that out. And so Arizona cypress, it does naturalize. Get up to size, it will go by itself. And so the other number one seller, I guess, shrub would have to be red tip photinia. This is one, it's a 12 by 12 by 12 shrub, dense, thick. All the new growth is red. And then this time of year that new growth turns from red to green, but it's fast growing, thick. Now, I don't have that one in my yard. It's the number one selling shrub, but I don't plant it in my yard because it's got some problems. Deer eat it, gets some mildew, gets kind of, if there's 10 bugs in the area, it'll get 12 of them. It's got some issues, but it's fast growing. And it grows so fast, it's pretty cheap. So it's cheaper than some of the other things, but you're going to pay for it down the road in higher maintenance, more water bills. You're just going to, if I had my druthers, I would rather plant Ellie Agnes. It's the native version of that. Its new growth is gold, kind of with a blue. It's blue with a gold tinge. It gets up about 10 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet. So it's not quite as big, but it grows fast. And 10 feet usually will obliterate most views that you might need. If it's a second or third story, okay, we need something bigger. But most backyards, a silverberry, or Ellie Agnes, silverberry is a common name, is a native. Again, once it gets up to size, you can cut it off of all care and it will take care of itself. And there's no animal that will eat it. It doesn't get bugs, takes our sun, takes our wind. It's got all the stuff. It's a native. It grows wild here. You'll see them out in the forests least the blue version, you will. So the gold one is really striking with darker colored like rock. We like lots of mocha covered like rock lawns. The gold really is striking against the backdrop of a dark fence. It really looks good in front of chain link or let's say wrought iron. Really is striking, thick and full. And your neighbors you're not going to see them anymore. It's a great choice. Not red tip, sorry. Red clusterberry cotoneaster. I've used this one several times. Again, cotoneaster grows wild in the forest, up in the Bradshaws, Mingus. You'll just see this beautiful evergreen shrub up about, I don't know, chest high. And it's cotoneaster. There's a faster growing cousin that gets easily 10, 12 feet by 10, 12 feet. It's just thick and full and rich. We hedge it often, but it's got dark, like blue-green, like rich forest green, only darker foliage, thick, you can't see through it. It gets white flowers in the spring, and then those flowers turn into clusters of red berries, thus the name red clusterberry cotoneaster. Very fast. I mean, it's going to grow like this time next year, full on obliteration of any view you don't want to see. It's gone and without any care. And animals don't eat it. It's drought hardy. It does all the stuff you want. It's a good plant for the mountains of Arizona. It's a number one seller. For me, I use Spartan junipers. Now, the reason I use junipers grow, they're native here. So you know they're going to adapt. The entire family of junipers are going to adapt really well. And then junipers get a bad rap because I haven't got allergies. Well, if you're planting a hedgerow of junipers, don't plant the male variety. Now, we only sell females here at Waters Garden Center because we know they're the ones that, so the males put the pollen on, the females don't. They put the berries. So we're selling the females because the males cause allergies. The females don't. And so just put the right, if you get a good quality plant, that's one of the check boxes going, oh yeah, it doesn't have pollen. Perfect, we'll take that one. So that's one we're selling. I used Spartans in my yard because I've got so much blue already showing up throughout the yard. So I'm in this chaparral or manzanitas, and emery oaks and scrub oaks. This native blue stuff is there. The green is a good contrasting. It grows fast. So Spartan junipers get up to, I don't know, 10, 12 feet by 6, 7 foot wide. So they're thick, they're fast growing, they're methodical. And so I put a hedgerow out front where I can create this little privacy courtyard area with junipers. They're easy care. They just, nothing eats them. They take our drought. I don't worry about them when it heats up in summer. I don't worry about them in the winter with the cold because junipers, they just do well here. There's a good choice. The opposite of that would be Wichita blue juniper. If you want the same exact plant, only blue instead of green, Wichita blue, they're the same. So again, 10, 12 feet by 7 feet wide. It's a great one. Italian cypress. If you wanted to grow to the moon, but only get, 5 feet wide, that's another good one. You'll see Italian cypress in a lot of different places. So I think one that's not used enough, pine and spruce. We've got Spruce Mountain. You're always hearing about the pine, the fir, the spruce. They do really well here. And Austrian pine is the fastest growing of the pine trees. So you'll get 18, 24 inches of growth out of a Austrian pine. A Green Mountain pine is a direct cousin of that. They look very similar. And so those are very fast growing pines. They're related to ponderosas, only they hold their foliage right down to the ground. Whereas a ponderosa, basically you're planting a ponderosa, you're planting a trunk. The foliage is going to be up there out of sight. You kind of, in a landscape, for especially privacy, you want that foliage to hold right down to the ground. And so Colorado spruce, fastest growing of the spruce. Great choice for screening plants. There's a whole section here at Waters Garden Center called privacy screens. Take a look at those. It's all the big growing shrubs, the big growing trees that screen out for privacy, wind blocks, keeping those headlights out of your front living room. You use them for those. All right, we'll be right back with more after this.